Morning, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Westers Angling. Joining me and my dad who's fishing on the other side of the bank over there at Limbrick Fishery today. It's a rainy morning, it's just turned about 7:30. It only opens a little bit later, this fishery, so we've not got here for first light. But we're going to be doing a bit of feeder fishing today, hopefully pick out a couple of carp. I've already got everything set up, so I'm not going to be taking you through the full setup today. Ground bait, I've just got an absolute shit mix of ground bait here. So it's got a bit of everything in. It's got dead maggots, it's got ground bait, it's got pellets, it's got corn, just some stuff that I had in the freezer that I just needed to use up. My freezer's nearly full of ground bait. I keep freezing it and mixing more up. So I'm going to be fishing with two rods today. My dad's on the opposite side of the bank there because the swim next to me here isn't very productive unless you're fishing sort of float. But my dad wanted to fish feeder today, so he's going to be fishing a rod close to this outcrop of reeds here. I'm going to be fishing to this other side of the outcrop of reeds. That can be really productive for the carp round that side. And then my other rod, it's only £3 for an extra rod here, so I thought I might as well. I'm going to have down here next to the aerator. So fingers crossed we managed to get a couple of carp today. That's what we're mostly targeting on today's session. If I'm really struggling with the method feeders later, I've already got them pre-set up on the method feeders, so I'm not going to change them now. But if I'm really struggling, I've got some worms with me, and I might put a cage feeder on and see how we get on with that. But without any ado, let's get into the fishing and see what we catch for you. Right, let's get these rods out. I think I'm going to put the rod that's going over to the reeds out first. Just about got me my brolly up. Got my tackle bag behind me there. Got a few essentials next to me. Coffee, obviously. Somebody said in the comments, Westy, why do you drink so much coffee? I need to. Otherwise I'd be fast asleep right now. Right, okay. Let's go for a 6mm pink wafter on this first one, I think. Is this my smaller hook? I've got one with a smaller hook on and one with a bigger hook. Right up, Dad's into a fish. He's been fishing for about quarter of an hour while I've been filming. What is it, Dad? So this looks like a small carp. If the small ones are feeding, the big ones should be, in theory. Doesn't always work like that though. So I'm going to mount my corn using a baiting needle. So I'm just going to thread that through there, stretch out the band, and then push that over the band. And what happens is the band actually pops back out and expands inside the corn, and it'll stop it coming off. It's an absolutely awesome way of mounting. This is an idea that I've got from one of my subscribers, so thank you very much for telling me about it. It really does work. It's spot on. So it sits perfectly. It's well mounted. I know you won't really be able to see it on the GoPro, but let's put some of this dodgy method mix in. Like I said, there's a bit of everything in here. Now, I might actually clip up. I know I don't usually, but let's see if we can get it near enough first time. And then after that we can clip up. That isn't bad at all. So before we reel it in next time, we'll clip up to that spot. So I'm just going to put that down, tighten up to it a touch. Get my other feeder. I could do with having a little bit more of an angle towards that with the tip, but it is what it is. I'm just going to drop my arm slightly. Got my drag fairly low because the carp really do fight hard here. There's some absolute lumps in and I don't want to get broke. On this one we're going to go with a pink wafter. Could do with a 6mm rather than an 8mm. I've not got these on at the moment, but I've actually got a couple of these pre-tied packets of Guru hook lengths to try, just for when I don't have time to tie up my own rigs. As you know, I usually tie up my own. If you don't know how to tie up your own method feeder hook links, again, I'll put a video in the top right hand corner for you. It's dead easy, but sometimes it's more convenient just to buy some. If you're short on time, I really do need to watch my rods today because they'll be bloody in here. 6 mils. Just be balanced slightly better against this smaller hook, you see. You want them sitting above the silt. That's the whole point of them. Could do with changing these hook lengths, to be fair. I've had them on for a session and a bit now, so maybe midway we'll just swap over to a new hook length. You don't want to be getting broke just for the sake of reusing a hook length here. Oh, this is a proper mix of everything in that ground bait and pellets. Seem to stay on for the cast though, which is good. Just check I'm not wrapped around my tip. Always check that you're not wrapped around your feeder tip. I'm just going to swing this in underneath this branch here, and then put that on my rest. You see, now because I'm fishing one close in and one far out, they don't sit right on this when you're fishing 2 tips, so I'm going to have to bring this up a bit now just so I can see the indications on this right hand one. But ideally you want your rods as close to the water surface as you can. Could bring my chur back a touch as well, that might work. If I bring my chur back and have my feeder arm a bit more this way, I'll have clearance past them reeds, and I think that might be a bit better, so I think I'll do that next cast. You'll see what I mean when I do it, and you'll see that I've got a better angle on this left hand rod over to them reeds. That's not too bad though. We do like Limbrick as a fishery. We only found it last year, but very, very good fishery. Some really good fish in here. Good stamp of carp in general. Quite a few double figures. And when they're on it, they're on it. If you haven't seen the other videos that we've done at Limbrick, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Just had a bit of a knock on this right hand rod next to the aerator. Already, that's a good sign. I was just talking to my dad on the phone then, and he got into a fish. He had to drop his phone. Not sure what it is, it's fighting weird. I think it's another little carp. So he's had 2 fish in quick succession there. I just need to watch for this wind changing so that my broly doesn't get blown away. At the minute it's keeping the worst of the rain off me. Just going to make a couple of alterations. I'm just going to put my bait runners on here. I'm going to put my chur further back, as far back as I can put it, and more towards this side. Oh, corn's gone. Oh shit. There we go. So that's done a couple of things. 1, I'm more under my brolly. And 2, I'm going to have a better angle towards that feeder. I'm surprised that's not dragged the feeder actually. So just why I've got this rod in, I'm just going to change the rig on it. They look quite a thick gauge, these hooks. Must be strong. Let's use a size 8 with this now. Well, I'm already not very happy with them rigs. I've literally just gone to stretch the band out to put an 8mm wafter on and it's broke. They're usually quite strong, those Guru bait bands. To use a banding tool. I never use banding tools. Maybe I got a bad band. That one's stretched out okay. It's actually still, it's not fully thawed out, this ground bait and pellet mix. Double load it. Drop it back down this margin. And we'll recast that other. Recast this one, but I'm going to put the clip on. Yep, we're in. Oh, don't know what that was. Bit of a bream bite, I think. Very odd. Dad's just had his third fish. Let's get this method feeder back out and I'll get the other one out. Just threw this on the floor when I got that fish. Oh. Well, that was a bit of a shambles of a couple of minutes there, but I've got both rods back out. That first fish felt like a little bit of a bream bite, to be honest. It was very jerky and twitchy on the tip, so usually when it's a carp it just goes around and it stays around, so might be a little bit tight this swim to be fishing 2 rods, but I'm going to stick with it. And like I say, I might swap this left hand one onto the cage feeder. So my dad's had 3 fish already. He's fishing into that little bay over there. That absolutely shot off. He ripped me rod in. Some bonny carp in here and all. Got it. Absolutely shot off. Just throwing the hook in the net anyway. Hook length's pulled out. That's how much it shot off. Right. Let's get it back. That's an F1, that. Brilliant. Well, that's a blank saved already. Well, I've never had that before. So it actually pulled the insert out the method feeder. It shot off that quick. That was on an 8mm wafter. Well, first fish. It's a better fish. Down near that aerator. Bending that rod. Trying to get it from going across my other line. It's gone under my other line, I think. Just going to take a bit of might only be able to fish one rod today. Seems like the aerator swim's the one that's producing the fish at the minute. Just guiding it around that other line. Just trying not to panic with it. And keeping it away from that aerator as well. It's definitely a better fish. Luckily they're very soft rods, these. So all of these little lunges that it's doing, it's taking it in its stride. Bait runner on that one. Drag set fairly low. This is a good fish, this, I think. But way it's going. My God, I've never had a bend like this in this rod, but there's an aerator under there. I can't let it go. Oh, so glad I put that stronger up length on. So glad. It's a good fish, this. I've seen it. It's a good mirror carp. Oh. 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 Absolute lump of a fish, that. Oh. Oh my God. It's a good £8 that, I think. It's got some bloody fighting at this carp. Look at it go, swimming away, isn't it? Okay. Oh look, so it's got, that's my hook length. So let's put that down there. Again, the inserts come out. I don't know why. Maybe that's in a net. Odd. But he's also got somebody else's insert method feeder hook. Look at that. Look at that tiny little hook. Oh my God. That, I think that's a QM1. It is absolutely tiny. I bet that's a, I don't know. That looks like a size 18 QM1. No wonder they got broke. Definitely not heavy enough for here. Look at that fish, guys. Look at that for a mirror carp. A light tackle. Still got fight in it. Great bit of sport. Love it on the method feeder. That's coming up to, I wouldn't be surprised if that was £8–9. Proper fish, that. Let's get her back. Oh. Not down, girl. Up. I'll recover a second. Well, that's definitely worth coming out for. Very nice fish to have on feeder, that. Told you there was plenty of nice fish in here. Right, I'm going to have to fish with one rod. I think it's too much of a struggle with two. If it slows down, I'll put another one in, but for now I think we just stick with the one rod. God, it had this rod bent double. Never had these rods bent like that before. Properly bent double. Right, let's put this one down to the side and use the one with the 2 ounce tip on, and we'll fish it to that margin, because that seems to be where the fish are. Right guys, so I've just put one of my heavy duty self-tied method feeder hook lengths on here. Scale it up a bit. I'm not messing around now. If I could get into the insert. Got it. There we go. Heavy duty hook lengths on. Let's get it back out. After a bit of faffing. Oh dear. Put another handful of that mix in. The carp will love this mix, it's got a bit of everything in. Dead maggots and all sorts. Drag's okay. Yeah, you've just got to be careful in this swim, you don't want it getting wrapped around that aerator. A little bit further out, that, like there. If it goes quiet now, we can always put another rod back in over the other end. Didn't really interfere with the playing of that fish too much. Oh. Well, I genuinely thought my rod was going to snap at a couple of points during the fight with that fish then. Fair play to these rods, they hold up so well under pressure. I've had some really good carp on them and they're only fine rods. It's an absolute warrior of a fish, that. Already broke somebody else by the looks of it. Just shows you guys that you need to not be scared of fishing heavy, because I don't think it puts the carp off. There's never any need to go as small as fishing somewhere like this with decent carp in on a size 18 QM1 hook. There's just no need for it. You'll get roach and stuff like that on size 12, so unless you're gudgeon fishing, and I've even had gudgeon on size 12 hooks and 10mm wafters, so there's literally no reason for you to not scale up a bit year round. Don't think it puts the fish off when you're fishing this way with a method feeder. As a bare minimum, I use 7 pound hook length year round. In summer I'll scale that up to about 12 pound, slightly bigger hook, maybe go up to like a size 10 feeder hook, size 12 or 10. And through the winter, hook size I might go down as small as a 16, but never anything smaller than that. I think this hook that's on here is maybe a size 12 feeder hook, might even be a 10. If the bigger carp are on the feed, I need to make sure I'm not undergunned. Right guys, so quick gear update. Got myself some Daiwa sunglasses. They're meant to be polarised, but I don't think they are. What do we think? They're alright. Only 15 quid. But I don't think they're polarised. Said that they were. How do you check if something's polarised? I can still see a few reflections on the water and stuff. I guess it needs to be I guess it needs to be sunny and not raining like it is today. We'll try him when the weather's better. Look at him. It's like he's formed as part of the brolly. He's got his gloves on and everything. He must be freezing. It's all open on that bank on that side. I'm not too bad here. It's pretty sheltered in this little corner that I'm in. I've not had anything in about 15 minutes, so I might put that other rod out. I can bet your life, as soon as I put that other rod out though, I'm going to get a fish answer on this one. Should I do it? Let's do it. I am glad I fished 2 rods today. The reason being, I've gone through 3 of these hook lengths today. I don't know where the other one's gone. It pulled out in the net and I can't find it now. The reason being, I'm glad I fished 2 rods, is if I'd have only fished 1 rod, I would have focused on that swim over there near the reeds. And we've not had anything over by the reeds yet. I definitely wouldn't have targeted down here next to the aerator, because I had a good day in autumn over by the reeds and I just wanted to try that swim again. So let's go with another 8mm. I am out of 8mm wafters. See, I knew it. Knew it. Soon as I put the other rod in, this one's going for it. Stripping me out. Brought me. Well, absolutely stripped me out and broke me on 12-pound line. That must have been a really good fish. I'm just about to put the other rod in as well. Can you believe that? I didn't have my drag set too high either. Oh dear me. Stripped me out and broke me. I cannot believe it. Gutted. Size 10 hook and 12-pound line. Must have been a really good fish, that. Wow. Right, let's get another hook length on and get it back out. I'm going to stick to 1 rod. I literally can't describe to you how gutted I am about losing that fish, because that was a really good carp. Really good. It must have been. To break me like that on 12-pound line, hook length. I've scaled up even more. I've stepped. Obviously, I'm not going to go any heavier than 12-pound line, but I put a slightly bigger hook on and a 10mm wafter. But I can't. I'm just gutted. Gutted. That was a really good fish. See, drag's not too high. Just shot me off right across the lake. One-way ticket. Just as I was about to put that other rod in. I'm gonna leave it. Put another rod back out. over to the reeds. First time I've ever been broke on 12-pound hook length. That must have been a really good fish. I know I keep going on about it, but I am absolutely gutted, I can't tell you. Definitely risking it putting the other rod out, but I've not had anything since that fish broke me down here. Next time I fish here, I'll probably fish with my specimen rods. Slightly stronger line. I need to check whether they allow bite alarms. That's the only thing. Mind you, I could just have my specimen rods on my rod pod and then just watch the bobbins. Nothing wrong with that. And it'll just allow me to fish a little bit heavier. Maybe target some of the really chunky fish in here. I think they go to 20. Never had anything that big out of a standard coarse fishery like this. I think my biggest out of a normal coarse fishery is about 14-15 pound. That'd be nice to get that on the camera for you this year. Like an upper double, so maybe like 16 pound upwards on the method feeder and a normal fishery. I said I was going to scale up my tackle and not get broke this year, but what am I meant to do? I can't go any heavier than 12-pound hook length fishing the method feeders. I have to scale up the rest of my tackle. I'd have to use my specimen rods, you know, stronger main line and stronger hook length, maybe like a braided hook length or something like that. And then you're getting into like your specimen fishing territories. If you do hook one of the bigger fish in these coarse fisheries, it's just luck of the draw whether they have you across the lake and break you. There's only so much you can do with your clutch. Like I had that clutch set perfectly then. Just about to take, it was just taking line. It was smooth. And then the hook length went nice soft rods as well. It's not like they're too stiff, and they've put excess pressure on the hook length. It's just one of them things. There's only so much you can do to avoid losing a fish, but you still kick yourself. You know, what if I'd have done that? What if I'd have done this? I think they're the ducks that flew through my line the last time I was here. You two lost me a fish last time as well. Silly ducks. See, look, idiots are on my line again. Absolutely not bothered about me being here. Just want to fill the ground bait. Just filling the method feeder up on the one that's down here under the tree. I think I've figured out why I actually got broke. It's because I swapped my rods over, and this is the one that's clipped up, and I don't know whether, I look at the footage on the playback, I don't know whether I've hit the clip or not. The fish has shot off across the lake, hit the clip, and that's just put excess pressure on the hook length and it snapped. So for all you that ask me why I don't clip up, that's the reason. That's probably why. It probably hit the clip, stopped taking line and broke. Recast this one and all. Yeah, that's making sense now. I'll have to be careful if I get a decent fish on that one again. Well folks, seems to have gone a bit quiet. This rain's picked up, and so's the wind. It's actually quite a cold day today. Definitely dropped a couple of degrees overnight. Yesterday was really mild. We're obviously feeding, but whether that last carp just caused too much of a disturbance in the swim. Put my other rod back out. I think my dad might come and move next to me in a bit and try the other side of the aerator. His swim seems to have gone a bit quiet over the far end there. And like I said, I've not had anything to the reeds, where the fishing's usually good, to be honest with you. So they don't seem to be held up there today. As I was saying to you before, Limbrick is very, very silty. Very silty. There's probably 4 inches silt in here. And I have a theory that when you fish into aerators, the turbulence from the aerator probably forces a bit of the silt to the outside. So 1, you get a clear spot, 2, it's oxygenating water. So that'll really draw the fish in. They'll really be able to see the feed that you're putting down there. Obviously with it, it's got absolutely rained on from a brolly then. Obviously with the visibility from the pink wafter, the maggots and the corn, that's obviously drawn those bigger fish in. Now I've no doubt that I'm going to get another fish down there at some point today. It's just a matter of them building up some confidence to move back into that swim and start feeding again. I think he runs the aerator 24/7. I've also swapped over to a 10mm wafter, so whether the slightly bigger wafter's putting them off, but I've actually run out of pink wafters from abandoned wafters. I don't even use the other colours, it's such a waste of money, but I've just got more confidence in the pink ones. So they're completely out. I'll have to get some more 8mm, unless you want to send me some Sonia baits. Definitely not big enough for them. I'll get my sponsorship, guys, don't you worry. No, genuinely, I'm not bothered about any kind of sponsorships or anything like that. I think a lot of these big angling and tackle companies, once they start getting sponsorships and things like that, it's all about forcing those particular products onto people, onto your viewers on YouTube, and that's not something that I want to do. I'm not in it for the money. I'm just sharing my experiences with you guys on YouTube, and if I find a product that's good, I'll recommend it to you. I believe these are sold out in the UK now, which I'm a bit gutted about, because I wanted to get another one. Mine's a bit old and tatty. These Chorley VA ground bait and riddle sets. Come on, where have these fish gone? Just had a bit of a knock on the aerator rod. What I think I'm going to do on this next cast, I'm going to swing the arm more central, and then I'm going to have my right hand rod where it is, so that'll be fine. It'll just be a little bit closer to it, so I'll have to set my drag a touch lower. And then this other rod I'm going to put into this bay over this side. Might be a little bit deeper. Must be too shallow around there near the reeds. It's a very rainy day today. Pentolite shelter's keeping the worst off the GoPro. Right, let's change these up. I'm just going to swing it around. Let's get this rod in first. So I'm probably pretty much dead center in that bay over there. Like I say, this isn't, I could do with a little bit more angle on that tip, but that's as good as it's getting for now, I think. And obviously the problems will come when I'm trying to net a fish here. I'll probably have to get my net over a bit further out, which I'm sure I'll be able to do. Horrible weather. At least I've got my waterproofs on today. Very cold as well. Even the ducks hiding out of the rain now that they've eaten all my ground bait and corn.
To be honest with you, I think it's a similar size to that first one. Cut perfectly. 10mm wafter. Show you the fish. And then I'll get it back. Yeah, it's a similar stamp to that first one. Come in a lot easier. I don't think it knew it had been hooked. Going to have loads of energy because it didn't really fight. It's a nice carp, that. Similar stamp to that first one. Lovely fish. Just going to get it back. Oh. Hey. Tell you what guys, this time of year, if I only catch them two fish, I feel like I've had a good day. Because they were both nice fish. We'll see if we can get another one though. Horrible, horrible day. Well, they're clearly still towards that aerator. I had to wait a little bit longer for that bite, probably about half an hour, but they're still down there. Well guys, I couldn't see whether I'd hit record or not, but I've just had another one of those carp, similar stamp to them last two underneath this tree here, so it is really productive, right next to that aerator. Hopefully get another one. So they've all been mirrors. I'm hoping for a common at some point today. And obviously we've had that small F1 as well. So not turning into a bad day at all. Ideally I'd want to be fishing with an 8mm wafter, but like I said, I've run out of them, so we're having to make do with the 10mm. I could put one of the yellow ones on obviously, but they just don't seem to have the same effect. Definitely have to wait longer for a bite with the yellow ones and the other colours. Do you want some corn? See how brave he is. Well, I might give it another 5 or 10 minutes into this bay and then maybe move this left hand rod somewhere else. I could try over to the far margin in the bay. Definitely not moving the rod from near the aerator. I think that'll produce another fish at some point today. And there seems to be a good stamp coming from there. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to stick it out today. It's absolutely chucking it down, freezing and wet, and just like another couple of fish for you, and then we'll probably call it. Right, let's recast this left hand rod. Just cast that one into the bay margin. See if we can pick up anything there. Don't know what the audio is going to be like today. Just going to have a recast, guys, but I'm going to try corn. See if I manage anything on that. Honestly, I can't even fit my hands. Well, that was a good shout on the corn. It's a really good fish. Warrior of the fish. Oh, I've got it, guys. I nearly lost that fish so many times. Oh my god. That's a cracking mirror. Long. Oh. Oh, I can't feel my fingers to unhook it. Oh my god. Take a look at this. Absolutely powerful fish. So long. I can't really grip it because of how cold my hands are. But look at that. Look at that fish. Absolute beast. I'd probably put that at, again, £8 or £9, maybe more, at least 9. Very, very long fish, but it's got belly on it.
Well, I'm in again on the other rod. I'm gonna have to put this fish back. That one's come off. It got me in the reeds. That was mental. Did you hear the drag go on the bait runner? Oh dear. It got me in the snags and the rushes down here, and I don't know whether the hook pulled or what. It didn't feel like a big fish, that one. It must have been like an F1. It just shot off. But that was a cracker. You don't really get a scale for it on the camera, but it was easily £9, that fish. Really good fish. Right, let's get the rods back out. And I just swapped over to corn, so that was the right call. Whew. Tell you what guys, my hands are that cold that I struggled to change the GoPro battery. Oh, horrible weather. Right, let's get these 2 rods back out. It's amazing, isn't it? Nothing for probably over an hour on the wafter. Swap back onto corn and straight into a fish. Alright, just sorted my brolly out because that was half blowing away. Oh, let's get corn back on and get it back out. Amazing. Just shows you sometimes a hook bait change can make a massive difference. Can't argue with how good corn is as a bait. Probably one of the most inexpensive baits. And mounted like this as well just makes it so incognito. Fish just don't expect it. They just come in, start feeding on the method feeder, taking them free offerings. Oh, my hands are dead. I'm going to have to squeeze this in by hand. Can't even use the method feeder loading. Let's keep it on one rod for now. Because that was a quick bite last time. It is really interesting that I got a bite pretty much instantly on the corn after maybe about half an hour to an hour and not having a bite on the pink wafter. So they've clearly become wary of that particular bait. That's the only explanation for it in my opinion. Can't believe I lost the fish on this rod as well. That's the only fish that I've had on this rod all day. They've all been mirrors today, apart from that F1. There are some nice commons in here, but it's a really good sign that the carp are on the feed, because if they're on the feed here, they'll be on the feed other places as well, and they seem to be closer in. A couple of you have mentioned to me about these banjo feeders potentially not falling right, but I've done a test in a bucket in a garage and they land flat down every single time with feed on and everything. so I don't honestly think that's a problem. I've never had an issue with them. These are just cheap eBay banjo feeders, work out about £1.30, £1.40 each. I'll put a link to them in the description if you wanted to have a look at them and maybe save yourself a couple of quid. There's nothing wrong with them, they're great. And it's what I'm probably going to be using, 30 gram, so perfect weight. I'm going to take the 10mm off and we're going to go with a 6mm actually and scale that down a touch. Just keeping an eye on my other rod out at the corner of my eye, because as you've seen, that's been flying off today. Definitely not shy bites. Now this is a size 12 hook, so it's a little bit big for these 6mm, but we're gonna have to deal with it. I could band corn on as well if I wanted to, but I've got corn on this other. Drop a comment down below, guys. Should I do a wafter versus corn challenge and see which is best? Like a battle of the ultimate baits. There's a cracking cast that over to that tree. I'm happy with that. Don't know why we've not had anything on this one. I might just... Yeah, there's a bit of weed on it. That could definitely put a fish off. Okay, I'm just gently pressing some around the outside of the feeder there. Plenty of bait going out because they're on the feed clearly. A lot of it will come off on the cast, but it's fine. Got in the tree a little bit then. How weird. My dad was into a fish and then I'm into a fish now. I think I might be pulling in a branch or a snag or something. Maybe it's got me in a snags. Yeah. Yeah, the fish got me in a snag. Well, that's definitely the best branch I've caught this year. They definitely know where the snags are, don't they? Bleeding hell. Well folks, I think we're actually going to call it a day there. The weather's absolutely atrocious and it's beating us. I'm absolutely soaking wet through, I'm freezing, and my dad's had enough. Look at him over there. Absolutely huddled up into his brolly best he can. But the wind's just blowing right into us and it's blowing all the rain on us and stuff, so yeah, I think we're going to pack up there. So thanks very much for watching and I'll see you in the next Westers Angling. I hope you've enjoyed this short session.